The feud we never knew we needed. We've had the Wednesday night wars. We've had the Friday night wars. We're now having sneaker wars, Top Dollar versus Young Bucks. We're going to talk about that and a lot more with our British family joining us here today in just a sec. So stay tuned. This is WrestlXtra.
Yo, this is WrestlXtra. This is your boy, A Dazzle. Listen, I was going to say alongside my tag team partner, as always, the WrestleManiac, if you will. But you know what? It's more than that, you know. We're here. And Mex is here. But before we even talk about the other two faces that you probably don't really know and haven't seen and whatever else, yeah, forget that. It's Mex Appreciation Day.
Rah.
Mex Appreciation Day. birthday. Bro, I've said it before. Luckily, you know, I'm not one of those guys that waits for like someone's birthday or even worse, someone to pass away before you say big things about them. You know what I mean? I said it the other day. This guy is the glue to many of us here, especially these guys that you can see on the screens. And of course, Black British Wrestling, the glue, the hardest working man. I say all the time, the hardest working man in the scene.
Appreciate it, bro.
Is Mex, the WrestleManiac. Happy birthday, bro.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. And this is
keep you too long. I'll try my hard to keep you long, I gotta go eat some Chinese and that with the family and that or something. Meal and thing.
Nando's, chicken ting.
Okay, fair enough. Keep it that way. What are we saying?
Man, all good. And I'm happy that I'm still here doing the show today. And like you said, this isn't just a tag team today. This is the Survivor Series team. We've called in the reinforcements.
War games, bro. This is war games.
Trust me. So it's great. Thank you very much.
Listen, man. As I said, this is war games. We've got the Fantastic Four. We've got the Four Horsemen on here today. You know what I mean? I've got NK, Boy from Wresthings. Boys, what are you saying? This is crazy. Like, there's 4 people on here. There's usually only 2. There's 4.
I'm a big fan of you guys. You know, I tune in as much as I can. You know, seeing you guys every week. You know, reviewing everything Black in Wrestling.
So always coming through.
I'm honored to be able to see you guys and to be here on YouTube. And I'm a big fan of NK as well. I'm honored to be here.
No, man.
Okay, what you saying, man? Okay, what you saying?
No, but obviously it's a pleasure to be back on, back on this platform. You know, me and A that's have an ongoing feud. You know, that's headline of WrestleMania.
Yeah, man. Let's
one
do
day.
You know, one day we'll headline WrestleMania. No, but big up the man, man. Big up like what you lot are doing. Especially you, A does with your page, your platform, like highlighting Black wrestlers. Like it's needed. It's definitely needed, man. So like big love to
more
you.
Than a lot of
time,
other people are doing.
Trust me.
Way more, you know, doing way more than a lot of people are doing. So, you know, when I see some of these comments, I'm a bit, hold on there, bro. Hold on.
Listen,
I didn't really want to go there, but
listen, I wasn't really gonna go there, but I found out who my people were that day and that couple of days, man, and the man that were in there. So yeah, man, appreciate you, man. Big time. Listen, this is WrestlXtra. We're bringing you prime British beef. You get me? With the Wresthings, with the WrestleManiac. This is not like, you know, the British beef that they put the sticker on the Audi beef. Now this is that prime Sainsbury's beef. You know what I mean? Straight British beef, black British. Let's do this. Speaking of beef, we're gonna go straight in. and talk about Top Dollar. Listen, I'm gonna let Mex take this one because I'm a bit of an old man. I don't understand this whole trainers and sneakers stuff. You know what I mean? I'm here with my humble feeler high tops. You know what I mean? I don't do Air Force Ones and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna let Mex take this, and we'll all jump in when we need to. And you tell us what's been going on with our boy Top Dollar.
Well, I'm not actually too sure how it started, but obviously I saw there was a Twitter back and forth between Top Dollar and the Young Bucks somewhat. Top Dollar made reference that, you know, all the sneaker stuff they do is a bit forced, not really real. Behind closed doors, they're wearing Asics and all these other kind of brands, trying to belittle them a bit. And then, like I said, Young Bucks must have replied. Top Dollar came out with a diss track the guy can rap. It's not just a gimmick. The guy can rap. And it is where it is now. It has kind of died down a bit. But again, this is just another, well, you can say this is kind of NXT versus AEW. Like, I don't know where to put this on the scale of things.
I kind of seen it as, so I saw this tweet. It wasn't directed at no one, but I guess if you had you can rub two pens together, you kind of understand what was going on and who he was talking about. And then, of course, the AEW faithful, NK was probably one of them, jumped in and was like, "Don't come for my, don't come for the young,
the sneakerhead.
Don't come for the Young Bucks, this, whatever, this, that, and the third." And it just turned mad. Like, people were, I don't know if anyone else has seen the little video from Alfred Conua, who covered the story in the best way possible. It's absolutely amazing. Quick little YouTube thing where he's talking about, we kind of interpreted some people's tweets into sounding a bit like a slave master talking to a slave. It's bad. You need to go and find it.
As in how the Young Bucks are talking to Top Dollar.
No, how fans were talking to Top Dollar.
Okay.
Kind of telling him like he hasn't been around long enough to be coming out at the Young Bucks like this, and who is he, and those kind of tweets like, oh, imagine starting wrestling just yesterday and trying to come for people who are the best in the world and this, that. I'm like, really? So then, Top Dollar was like, well, you can Google my net worth. You can, he did the diss track as well, obviously showing what he's about, talked about his sneakers, all that rest of it. And it just turned a bit mad, even to the point where AEW decided to get their resident John Cena, Max Caster, to do a little bit of a rap, which was very, in a very funny way. It was very WWE-ish, very simple, but was named NXT, named Top Dollar, but apparently it wasn't aired. It was kind of like one of those, for dark or whatever it was. So it all got a bit crazy, and I don't understand why. Like, why do you think like some people are so quick to, just come at someone, not knowing who they are necessarily, not even knowing their background or assuming their background, and then Twitter comes at them in the way that they do. Sounds familiar, to be honest. But anyway.
Del Boy, NK, what's your thoughts?
I mean, for me personally, I think it's two things. I think one, it's weird fandom. People are just obsessed with the Young Bucks. I get it, but at the same time, the Young Bucks are blinding them. It's like, if it's not AEW, it doesn't matter. And the second thing is racism. A lot of these guys are racist. Let's be real. They just talk rubbish. All of a sudden, they look at Top Dollar. They're like, "Oh wow, who's this black guy that's just sending for our kings?" It's like, come on, man, you're a peasant to these man. So I mean, it's ridiculous. But I don't pay them any mind. Top Dollar is hard, like, bro. When I listen to that track, I was like, "Fam, this guy can rap." And even I'm seeing a lot of people, like, for the time, I've been seeing a lot of comparisons with Max Caster, and for me, that's another thing that's racist as well. We shouldn't be doing that because they're completely two different. What they're giving are two different things. One is more of a simple type of like, entertainment type of rap. One is really rapping for real. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't even put them in the same playing field. But big up Top Dollar, man. He smashed that track.
NK, how have you seen it?
No, I think the back and forth between Top Dollar and Young Bucks, like them two, I think it was hilarious. I thought like when I read the tweet, I was like, okay, that's funny. And then when I saw the rebuttal, it was funny. But seeing some of these AEW fans talk about Top Dollar, I was like, it's not your just just enjoy the beef from afar. Just like, you don't need to add your 2 cents. I just talk about like Top Dollar's. And like I said, a lot of these comments that very racial undertones, very not even undertones, overtones. So I just found the whole back and forth funny, because at the end of the day, it's sneakers, but then certain fans turn it into, you shouldn't talk about my man's career. It's like, bruv, these men are just having a debate about sneakers. Like, why are we taking it this far? But the whole Max Caster thing, Max Caster talks about anything. Like, so I was not surprised when he made his little, tutu entertainment thing. At the end of the day, it's entertainment. So all these, diehards, riding out for shoes, I beg, just please enjoy the beef, man.
That's the thing. I just feel like a lot of these fans, they don't get laid enough. So that's why they tag on that shit. Like if they was getting
And
women,
the thing is,
they wouldn't
no,
be chatting shit.
Like, let's be honest. We've been to wrestling show. We watch wrestling. None of these fans are wearing them shoes. None of them. They're not wearing them shoes. They're not.
It's true.
Like, the thing is, the reason why these men are riding out for Young Bucks is because them seeing Young Bucks wear Jordans probably the first time they've ever seen people wear Jordans, fam. That's why.
It's true, you know, because even I mean, come on, let's be real. We all know that Young Bucks doing most of the stuff that they're doing at the moment is just to get on people's nerves. That's the whole point of what they're doing. It's the whole reason why they're doing what they're doing. A part of me kind of sometimes feels as though they're taking it too far or feeling as though they can get away with certain things because that's their excuse. But at the same time, entertainment's entertainment. I ain't really here to get all upset about it. It's not that serious. And apparently the first time they wore those, I think it was Gucci Air Max. Those are fake.
What the Dior's?
The Dior's, that's the one.
Dior's.
Yeah, apparently those were fake.
I was never convinced that they were wrestling in the actual pairs, maybe replicas.
Do you know how much them Dior's cost?
Yeah, like 8 bags or so.
Well, I'd be going on Wish and AliExpress to get them Dior's to wrestle in.
Has the big man joined us himself? Mr. AJ Francis in the building.
Yes. Well, go on, Mr. Francis. Yes.
Okay.
Top Dollar in the building.
Big shout to Top Dollar. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think the Dior's that they wrestle in are the fake ones, but then they got the real ones at home.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah,
man. This whole trainers thing, bro. Listen, I just about spend 60 quid on a pair of trainers. So when you're talking about like 110s and 300 pounds and this, that, and that, I just don't know what that is. So big up to anyone who's on that. You know what? I've even seen. Here's a crazy thing. I clocked a page on Instagram about a month ago. Wrestling and sneakers. I can't remember if I've said that right, but it's basically like they highlight every pair of trainers
that wrestlers are wearing.
One of the big wrestlers are wearing. And when I say to you, like, it's literally Air Force every single post. It's like that's the thing now. I mean, that's an American thing. That's an American thing. I know full well from friends that I've had, you know, come over here and whatnot. They are shocked that we don't wear Air Force as much as they do.
Wrestling in Jordan 1s and
Jordans and all that. That missed me with all of that. But yo, listen, it's as simple as this, man. As NK said, it's entertainment. You know, them like had their beef. I know it wasn't, you know, personal between them and even at other AEW stars laughing about it all and what Top Dollar said and all the rest of it. So there's nothing real, and people that get a bit upset, you know, you gotta leave them there to get upset. Moving on a little bit, but keeping it with AEW, we've seen our friend Lio Rush come back from retirement for the 1005th time, and he's now kind of rubbing shoulders and taken Dante Martin under his wing. Dante Martin, of course, had a match with Aleister Black. Good match, of course. Every time we see Dante Martin, he always pulls it out of the bag. All good. In a backstage interview, Lio Rush was a little bit critical of his new friend, but said, "If you listen to me, everything will be all right." And now you have a new tag team partner. What's the thoughts? What's going on with Lio Rush and Dante Martin? Where's it going? And what happens when Darius comes back?
So apparently Darius is playing this up already. I think there's a tweet of him like, what the hell sort of thing, after Lio Rush announced what he announced. Like, to be honest, for me, this is like Lio Rush at his best. Yeah. Just this kind of just him being very him in a way, like doing, obviously he's meddling somewhat with what Dante's doing. Dante has reason to follow him. He's had a lot of opportunity in tag and singles, and nothing's really worked yet without his brother being by his side. So for Dante, he knows he's in the tag team, but it's like, well, I might as well try something new. And Leo Rush, like, I don't know, there's even with everything, all the drama that seems to follow him, there's something still very likable in his character that's portrayed on TV. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this, to seeing this play out. I want Darius to possibly then come back, and then you have that confusion with Dante Martin. Who should I follow, my brother or this guy that's maybe, you know, more than likely now going to bring me some success?
Right. NK, how you seeing this one?
I think Leo Rush is turning heel on this guy. Yeah, just like from the mannerisms, like like he's almost like, I feel like Leo Rush is using Dante at the moment. Like from what I saw, it was kind of like, no, I'm gonna take you under my wing, but when it's time for me to fly, I'm just gonna leave you alone. Or there could be an angle where when Darius comes back, they end up being a trios team. So that's the two angles I'm seeing it from. I'm either seeing it, you know, Leo's eventually going to turn on Dante, or, you know, they form a trios team. And the trios team with those two would actually be very sick. Would actually be very mad.
Definitely. That what you saying?
Pretty much similar, but I don't know, for some reason I see this is to bring in Private Party. I see Private Party leaving the Hardys and joining Leo.
That's what should have happened, probably.
At some point, I'm guessing that Darius and Dante, they're going to realize that, you know what, Leo's full of shit. And he's like, you know what, I tried to bring you guys in, brothers, but you know what, I've got my brothers here that I'm going to work with. So I feel like that could potentially be a player that could happen. That would be sick. And it'll be a sick, and I don't know, depending on who Darius and Dante get, maybe Matt Sydal, that'll be a sick 3-on-3 match.
That's true. That's true, and that's an interesting way to put it. You know, I didn't think about that at all. Obviously, we've seen some kind of interaction with Leo and Private Party, not so much on screen, but more so, you know, in tweets and pictures, stuff like that. So to have them maybe come out and attack Top Flight when Darius comes back or something like that, and then align with Leo properly, that would be phenomenal. To then have a massive, you know, 6-man, if it's Matt Sydal or whoever else that Top Flight find. It's definitely, you know, Leo Rush, we know as a character, in everywhere he's been, he's in it for himself. That's without saying, and nothing wrong with that at all. This is wrestling. This is what happens. You can't be world champion with 3 friends. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's one of those ones. He's always going to come out on top. Speaking of Leo Rush and championships, of course, Leo Rush had an interview not too long ago and was talking about becoming the first Black AEW champion. Now, me and Dow, I think we kind of went to and fro just a little bit on the Twitter about an hour or so ago, talking about who should really be this first Black AEW champion. Del Boy's saying Leo Rush ticks all the boxes. I'm saying it's Ricky Starks, of course. What's everyone else saying?
Both of them. Both of them. Who is it? Because I completely forgot about Ricky Starks because the whole program of Brian Cage has completely just zoned me out. So even from seeing the interview with Leo Rush, I'm like, you know what? Thinking about it in terms of character, he's got it. In terms of ring work, he's got it. Promo skills, he's got it. He's someone that's been in the business for goodness. As much as he's like 26, 27, he's a veteran at this point. So if he was to tango with the likes of the Daniel Brands and the Kenny Omegas, I wouldn't mind that. But then when some people brought up, what about Ricky Starks? I'm like, oh yeah, of course Ricky Starks. I saw a few people bringing up Will Hobbs. I get it. I 100% get it. But at the end of the day, he's still kind of new. And you know how people are. It's new. Don't push him straight away. And I feel like with people like Ricky Starks and Leo Rush, we could halve that time of getting to Will Hobbs. We can get a champion in 2-3 years, if anything. With Will Hobbs, I don't see it for another 5 years, if I'm honest.
There'll be a bit of a wait. But yeah, I think someone like Ricky Starks, like, again, the argument for me, we can talk about who will be the first champion, but the argument has always been putting these guys in and around that scene more so than actually just crowning someone champion out of just tokenism. Like, here you go, you guys wanted this, here you go, here's this guy. But definitely, like I say, we always say, like, the Jungle Boys and the Orange Cassidys and stuff are flirting with that scene. They get put into tournaments and, you know, win tournaments to get opportunities, and they don't win. But that is just where the likes of, you know, you want to see a Ricky Starks there. You want to see a Leo Rush there as well. They don't have to necessarily win if we don't think they're ready, but they should be in that, same kind of tier.
Conversation. 100%.
Yeah,
for sure. NK, who's your chosen one?
It's hard. I say based on just character work alone and promo ability, I say Ricky Starks. I can see Ricky Starks as like a good heel champion or even a good babyface champion. I'd love to see Ricky Starks turn face at some point in time because I think he's a very charismatic and likable person. But yeah, in terms of like, it's weird because like as a character, I'm picking Ricky Starks, but in terms of like a champion who's gonna be wrestling week in, week out, I can't lie. The prospect of Lio Rush defending that championship on a regular basis is exciting, especially with the roster AEW has and the styles. Like the styles just make sense. But yeah, like to echo what Mick said as well, I just feel like a lot of these guys it's not necessarily crowning them as champion at this point, but putting them in these tournament eliminators, having them face the best of the best in AEW, like kind of what almost like I'm not the same level, but almost what like Brian's doing right now. Like Brian's, he's at the top of the card right now. He hasn't necessarily wrestled for the title yet. I'm not saying they should push him like Brian, but just put these guys in the mix and let's see these interesting matchups because these guys are definitely talented. And someone like Lio Rush, he's super experienced. He's probably wrestled a lot. He's wrestled probably half of the roster already. So there's no chemistry issues. So yeah.
The problem is, if someone like Lio Rush becomes champion, then everyone will be like, oh, how can someone the size of Lio Rush be the heavyweight champion? That'll be the next issue. Like, although you've seen him wrestle, win tournaments, and do what he needed to do to get to that point, there will be another problem that will arise. 100%.
I guess it's very similar to when we were all pulling for Rey Mysterio to become a champion. The second he became a champion, we were like, right, so what's next? I think it would be something very similar. As much as, and I said this in the tweets, as much as it, AEW doesn't really care or harbor too much about the whole size thing and whatnot, Lio Rush is still smaller than most of those guys. So it would still look a little bit weird or whatever else for him to be champion. At the same time, the matches he would have would just be phenomenal, just be ridiculous. As great, as balanced of a star as Ricky Starks is, I guess Lio Rush kind of almost is more of a guarantee to give you great matches, whereas Ricky Starks gives you everything else without a shadow of a doubt. So it's a very difficult one to choose. The one person that people are calling out in the comments, the Chaos Emerald champion, is Scorpio Sky. Now, listen, here's the thing. He's got a legitimate argument, because he's beaten Chris Jericho twice now. What about Scorpio Sky?
I wasn't even out here, man.
Adrian, I've got a question for you. What are you interested in Scorpio Sky? Outside of his ring work, like, do you look at him and think to yourself, like, you know what? I want to tune into this guy every single week. Honestly,
I was. The reason why I'm not now is because I feel as though they don't believe in him. So I've kind of lost hope. So if it was me, I would have done something with Scorpio Sky a year ago.
Early days.
Pushed him up there somewhere a year ago, whether it become champion or at least kind of, have a couple of contender matches, then yes.
AK is killing me.
But in terms of where he's at now, I wasn't even going to bring him up because I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening at all.
I mean, talent-wise, Scorpio Sky should be in the conversations with the likes of the Daniel Bryans, the Bobby Fishes. He should be flirting with those type of people. But no disrespect to what's his name, All Ego, Ethan Page. I like him, but if you're now pairing him with someone like that, when they came in, there was no real allure or happiness about him coming in. I like him, but nobody really cares. What they've been doing, maybe like the last few weeks, have probably been the most interesting that they've been. But other than that, like you said, from last year, he should have gotten a mad push, honestly. But it just seems to be stop-start. So I don't know. I don't really care for him, if I'm honest.
I don't expect anything to happen. That's why I kind of don't care in that sense.
Yeah,
I care because I like him and I always thought he should happen. It's not going to happen. So it's like pointless optimism. It's now pointless optimism.
Before NK goes, let me just say, I think it's a very AEW is a very, very different place to when, when we first started seeing the WWE guys come over to AEW, the Brodies and Matt Hardys and all of that kind of stuff. Them man, it was middle of pandemic. Maybe other people couldn't join. Them man were positioned very well up the card, right? Right now, with the level of talent in that place, Scorpio Sky can't sniff a number one contenders match, let alone, winning the title anytime soon. Like
even a tournament.
He's not even in the tournament. This is exactly it. But NK, what's your thoughts on Scorpio Sky being a possible name?
No. I'm so sorry. No. I'm not invested. No. Like I've watched AW from day one, and even when he was getting like his big push with like SCU and stuff, when they lost the title, I was like, okay, cool, decent. I don't like the run was decent, the run was fine, but like, and I've always like looked on the roster and seen that and been able to name like 3 or 4 guys I'd rather see as champion above him, and that's been consistent for me since the beginning. That's not to say that he's not a talented person. That's not to say that there haven't been mishaps with his character. I definitely think he should be featured on TV way more than he is, and I'm glad that he's doing this, American Top Team stuff with Dan Lambert, because I feel like he's now in a prominent feud with a prominent character, like Chris Jericho. But in terms of putting the belt on him, nah. And I was like that from the beginning. But now you've made the acquisitions that you've made. I'm so sorry. Nah, man. It's not everybody that needs to hold the belt. Some people can just be, in feuds, win a few matches. Listen, if he's TNT champion down the line, great. But that's where I see him TNT champion at best. At best. That's for me personally. I still rate him as a worker.
To be fair, you're not wrong.
I think he should win the NWA title. I think he should win the NWA title.
What kind of sideways compliment is that?
No, but bro, I think no, honestly, anybody right now in AEW can win the NWA title, and is definitely the prestige of that belt has risen.
You're a troublemaker. We're here talking about AEW World Title. Man says go and win the NWA one.
Yeah, well, bro. Okay, let's be real. If he won the NWA title, would we not look at him different? Like, rah, Ric Flair.
You know what? We would. We'd be like,
it would be sick. It would be sick. Ron Killings. It would be sick.
I said Ron Killings.
To wrestle.
Someone on the Ethan Page or Julia DeSanto or something.
I mean, you're correct. We would give him some kind of accolades. But
that's a
we know we're not holding the NWA at the same height as the AEW championship. I mean, it kind of just right now is almost level with the TNT, to be honest. You know what I mean?
The TNT title's even probably above the NWA title. I don't want to hurt any feelings, but
it kind of is, but that's the way it goes. I mean, at the moment, even talking about the NWA title, Trevor Murdoch's the champion, which is very weird. But the Pope is now the guy who has declared he's coming for him. So
that'd be good.
I've always rated Pope D'Angelo,
bro. He's literally been one of my favorite guys, like ever. Like if I was a wrestler, he would literally be the character I would be. Like the type of character or the rest of it, the way he talks, the style, all of that. So I've always loved him. But yeah, man,
Tony Khan might have to look into him because he's losing out on a lot of money if he doesn't get the Pope. Like the Pope was a very high valued feature when he was in TNA. Like I'm surprised he didn't win titles, but he was very entertaining. He was good in the ring as well.
You can still go, definitely.
100%.
Interesting. Moving on. Let's talk about another person who's trying to elevate himself in this world of wrestling. We're moving over to WWE. King Woods, King Xavier. What? So okay, all right. So after Kofi Kingston lost to Jinder, there was all this talk of they're probably gonna crown Jinder the King of the Ring. Well, of course, Xavier Woods defeated Jinder. And now we're getting Xavier Woods versus Finn Balor in King of the Ring tournament final. If I was to choose the final from the very small 8 people that they gave us, that would have been my final. You know what I mean? So I'm very happy it's that. But what do you honestly think, given WWE's way of thinking, given it's Finn Balor, you know, Xavier Woods has been talking this talk for like 5 years. What is actually going to happen in Saudi Arabia, of all places?
Reports say that WWE are very much going to push Finn on Raw, which will be his new home as of Friday or Monday, as a top guy. Like, they're very invested in Finn, reports say, which makes me think, okay, then they give him the King of the Ring gimmick sort of thing. Now, it depends if he treats it as a gimmick and carries it. The prince becomes the king, and I don't know where he goes on to from there. Xavier, obviously, like you said, he's been singing and dancing about becoming king. This is his WWE championship. Yes. You know, if he gets to become King of the Ring, this is what he really wants. And as a gimmick, King of the Ring, he could do a good, very entertaining kind of thing. I'm looking forward to the match. I really don't know who's gonna win. Just given the information I just said about they're really into Finn, and then Xavier's probably again with the New Day. This is probably one of the biggest accolades he could probably get as a WWE superstar for being for real. So I have no idea. My heart is literally saying Xavier, my head is saying Finn. I want to personally see Finn. From a wrestling point of view, I want to see Finn.
Okay.
Yeah, at the same time, I think Woods he deserves something. Like,
Dalboy, what are you thinking?
Similar to Mex, like I'm torn because, like Mex was saying, in terms of like it's a battle of seriousness versus the corny gimmick. If Finn wins, we could potentially get like a serious King of the Ring winner. Maybe there'll be some serious implications with him being King of the Ring. Whereas with Xavier Woods, he 100% deserves it. And we know we're going to get an amazing outfit. We know we're going to get amazing stuff happening week to week, entertainment from Xavier Woods. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a toss-up between both of them. I'm happy both of them made the final. They're the ones who are called to be in the final anyways. So, heart is saying Xavier Woods. My head is saying, you know what? We need to close the borders and take back this King of the Ring and stop making this stupid gimmick. Let's let it be serious again. Let's go back to the Brock Lesnar's and the edges where you know what I'm saying. So I'm looking forward. Like, to be fair, I didn't think I'd ever say this, but I'm actually looking forward to Crown Jewel.
Okay,
I didn't expect to say that ever because every year I cuss it, but this year the card is looking amazing. So yeah.
NK, what are you thinking?
I think it's Xavier, just based on how the King of the Ring has been treated as of recent years. It's more of a gimmick thing, and Xavier can turn, can turn like the deadest gimmick into something entertaining. So, and I feel like it's in line with what's been happening previously. So I feel like Xavier Woods will be the guy, because I don't believe personally. Like, I've given up on Finn, like in terms of like what their plans are for him. Like Finn will always be that guy on the card where you look at it, okay, like he's upper mid card for me. He's upper mid card, and I think that's where he will remain. I feel like there's been so much evidence throughout the years, and that WWE are still very high on Xavier. They're high on the entire New Day. So I feel like, for his contributions in and out of the ring, they're gonna give Xavier exactly what he wants, which is King of the Ring. And he will do very well with that gimmick. That gimmick will be very entertaining. Like that Doughboy said, the costumes, the promos, so he's gonna cut, it's gonna be entertaining. So for that reason, I definitely think it's gonna be Xavier.
It's crazy because for a change, I actually agree with NK word for word. Because I think it literally is and should be a thing where Xavier Woods should get it based on his contribution. Based on the fact that he is the last of the New Day to have that single accolade, I mean, like that, especially with him being so high on the King of the Ring itself. So they don't have to give him a world championship; they can give him that. and he'll be happy. He's good. So that would work for me. And I also agree with the fact of Finn Balor. Like, I've kind of given up on what and where Finn Balor's gonna go in WWE. I really can see Finn Balor doing the move to AEW as soon as whatever contract he has right now is up. And I see this super mega elite group, you know, super elite click or something like that. If you know what I mean. But I'd love to see Finn win something like that. And again, turn that King of the Ring into something a little bit more legit, as opposed to King Corbin and King Nakamura.
King Nakamura didn't even win the tournament.
He didn't win it. He gave back the crowd.
And he gave back the crowd.
Yeah. Stole it, gave it back, and whatever. So for me, Woods would make it something special again. For sure, even if whether he goes heel, whether he's even if it was comedic, even if he did like, you know, the King Booker thing, you know what I mean? King Booker was comedic, but it worked.
Yeah,
it worked for exactly what it should have been. Out of the two, so obviously we know when it comes to wrestling psychology, we know that it's heel versus face, bad guy versus good guy. Who would be the bad guy and the good guy in this with the two of them? Because currently both of them are faces.
Finn is like the tweener.
Yeah.
So I guess he's closer to the bad guy. He started the kind of face to face and ripping the little thing out of Xavier's hands on Raw. So yeah, I guess he might adopt that role.
And Woods is the favorite. Everybody wants Woods to win, so I'm guessing automatically Finn will just be the heel in that. So it should be a good watch.
Yeah,
I think for that reason alone as well, that's the reason why it should be Woods. But at the same time, this is WWE. When we beg and want something, they give us the complete opposite. So I don't even know what's going to happen with this. But the match will definitely be a good one. If they're given enough time and all the rest of it, the match will definitely be a good one. And in a very weird way, I'm kind of excited for Crown Jewel as well.
Yeah.
That sounds weird coming out of my mouth.
That Roman versus Lesnar thing, I'm too invested. I'm far too invested for what it is. Like
almost every match, apart from Queen's Crown.
Oh yeah, I don't care for that.
Yeah,
I don't know what that is.
I hope Zelina wins though. But yeah,
I'd love to see Zelina win. I can see them putting it on Dewdrop and it will be definitely a comedic thing. Hopefully, in time, you know, she'll turn into something else and become Piper Nevin again. And actually be someone that we care about. But you know, who knows? This is WWE. In terms of pushes, the next step, we mentioned, or Mex mentioned on Instagram earlier today, Montez Ford. So we know that when the draft was happening, we were this close to the split that some of us want to see, some of us don't want to see, some of us are scared for the other guy. But we were this close to the Street Profits being broken up. And of course, they came onto Raw together. But you know what? Something I thought of is maybe the reason why they didn't split them up. It's not because they didn't want to split them up, but because they want to run the story on Raw instead of it being just a one-time split because of the draft and then you never hear about it again. Maybe they want to play it out on Raw. And for me, that would make a lot of sense. But the big talking point really is Montez Ford becoming a top star. How far away, realistically, is Montez Ford from becoming a top star in WWE?
I think don't do the split. Not yet. Like, put it this way. I don't think he's necessarily far, but Damian Priest, United States champion, has not been on TV for 3 weeks. Exactly. And he's the United States champion. That's the champion of the mid card, if you like. And he ain't been on TV for 3 weeks.
Wow.
So if you're splitting my man from a tag team, I don't know what you're gonna do with him. Because if the champion can't get on TV, then where are you gonna put this guy?
Mm.
Bearcat Lee, where is he? You've repackaged him, you brought him back. Where is he?
He's coming next week apparently, and it literally is Bearcat Lee. No more Keith. No more Keith.
Bro. Like
Bearcat Lee.
we know Montez Ford has something. We know there is definitely star potential there. You know, we need to start doing our prayers for brother Angelo Dawkins because it's where is he gonna end up?
He's finished. Aye, Angelo, I love you, but you're finito. You're out of it. And that is harsh to say. That's why I don't want them to split up because it's so mad. I think WWE needs to do something about when they're pairing people together. Like, be careful about there being a Shawn Michaels and a Marty Jannetty. We've always known that Montez Ford from when NXT that he was always going to be posed as the star. Mm-hmm. So where does that leave Angelo? Not to say that Angelo Dawkins is bad. Like, he's decent on the mic, he's good in ring, but it's going to be another heavy machinery. Once they split, one person's going to be getting all the shine. The other person is probably going to be wearing jeans and trainers to the ring. Like, they're going to do Angelo Dawkins so bad, and I'm upset about that.
He's going to come out with 15 different headbands.
Yeah. Looking like a mummy. Ridiculous.
Nah, man. Ridiculous. I'm so sorry. He's
finito.
Angelo Dawkins is finished.
Oh, God.
Bro, it's going to be so mad. We're going to end up seeing him on 205 Live. And you know when the wrestlers doing their entrance, he's going to be in the ring like this. And his opponent, Angelo Dawkins. They'll probably call him Dawkins or Angelo.
They're gonna send him back to NXT 2.0, fam. I don't know what they're gonna do, fam. Nah, he's finished.
And he's been in developmental time prior to Street Profits as well.
Yeah, 6 years it was. 6 years.
Oh, yeah, that's long, man.
That's long.
Yeah.
That's long.
He's gonna have to go GCW or NWA or something, man. He's dead to rats if they split up. That's hard.
NWA champion.
No. Maybe like the national champion. National champion.
Like honestly, I think the best bet is if they do the Montez Ford singles run, Angelo can stick around as like a member of the entourage or something. Like,
that's a backup dancer.
It sounds bad, but at least he's still on TV.
That's a backup dancer.
I said hired security. That's crazy.
Oh my
bro, it's better than not being used, isn't it? Like,
you should now do commentary at this point.
Wow. Byron Saxton, you know. Wow. Wow. I mean, it's one of those things, man. But we can definitely see. Everybody knew from day one. Montez Ford is gonna be a star, and definitely should be a star. In terms of him, the way he gets there, that's gonna be interesting to see how WWE do it themselves. I think him and Ricky Starks are in very much a very similar position in the sense where their star power is ridiculous, but at the same time, both companies. I don't trust both companies to push them the right way, or I'm very worried about how they might do it, or the storylines, or the type of characters and all that kind of stuff that they'll do or use to get them wherever. But Montez Ford has got star power, running through his veins, and I don't. It's not hard to make it happen, but again, I'm just not positive about the way it's going to happen, if I'm honest.
So what roster is Montez Ford on? What roster are they on?
Now on Raw.
Okay, no. I'd say I think the Raw roster is a bit easier to navigate as well. Okay. Because you could put Montez Ford in like title matches with Big E and stuff like that. You could put him in that position where if you said SmackDown, I think it would have been a much tighter fit. But I think Montez Ford's road to the top, I feel like I could see him going through a lot of the top guys on Raw, and eventually winning the title at some point in time. I think they have high hopes for Montez Ford, and it helps, that his spouse is Bianca Belair as well. So the backstage.
Dawkins. That's a nice one, JV.
And having Bianca, WWE, politics helps. Having your spouse be Bianca Belair is definitely something that's going to help elevate in the future. So we'll see. With WWE, you have to, just pray, inshallah. But at the end of the day, like Montez Ford is a star, and he's been positioned that well. So yeah.
And that's one thing, what I've always wanted is to see.
He's a dog.
He's a
This guy's a
dog.
horny monster.
That's one thing I've wanted to see is the power couple, Bianca and Montez Ford, as a legitimate black power couple in wrestling is an absolute game changer, and there's no reason why it can't work apart from the fact that it's not us black people writing for them.
Writing it, yeah.
That is literally it. That's going to be the main thing, or the one thing for me that will mess up anything, or that being the dream that we want it to be. But given the way Bianca's being used right now, the way we're having this conversation about Montez hopefully being pushed and whatever else, there is nothing to say that can't work and work in a very big way. We saw, I guess, the last quote unquote power couple that we saw in WWE was Miz and Maurice, and when they were doing their thing, they did it well. It wasn't like top of the card, but they did it well. Yeah. I believe Montez and Bianca can take that to a completely new level.
I think what works with both of them as well, they both can work as faces and heels as well.
Heels,
yes.
Like imagine Montez and Bianca as like the obnoxious couple. Like, we're better than you, we've lifted better than all of you, we're faster than all of you. That is money right there, and a lot of people will be able to relate to it as well. So for me, it's like they could work either way. It's just a matter of, like you said, having black writers there to be able to write it in a way where it's palatable for us to be able to enjoy. I said, better than Booker and Charmel.
Booker and Charmel's a good. It's a good Charmaine. It's a good kind of entry level comparison sort of thing. But with these guys, especially because they're both in-ring performers, they could probably like completely nail it. And they're already kind of posed as this kind of the love couple and everything all over WWE, .com and all of these other kind of places. They're seen in these kind of higher, into the mainstream as well, sort of thing. Like you said, if we get the right people writing it, it could work. It could definitely work.
Their relationship isn't too far off like mine and Jade's, so like it could definitely work.
Jade who?
It's not far off me and Jade's, isn't it?
Which Jade are we talking about? Tell the people.
You know which one, man. You know which one, man. She works for AEW, innit? Obviously, you can't see each other because we work for different companies. I'm at Wresthings, she's at AEW. Like,
I hear that. Sometimes, I hear that.
We can't break the forbidden door, but
wow.
Contract, innit?
I mean, they can come close, I guess. You know what I mean? But who knows? Delboy and Jade is way too high a jump. Yes, shout out Roy Johnson in the building, Mr. Wavy Roy Johnson.
Come on.
Thanks for joining the already stacked Pounded Yam edition of WrstlXtra.
Fam.
Wow. Wow, Roy Johnson, Delboy. I hope you like jail food.
Claiming another man's woman. You're definitely going to jail.
Oh, good.
Oh man, it's happening. Oh, here's the other thing that we can talk about as well. Obviously, we now see a new North American champion in Carmelo Hayes. We know that with the North American Championship, I think there's been 11 champions, 6 of which are black. And of course, with this last one, it was, as I like to call it, black to black, where it was Isaiah Swerve Scott and then Carmelo Hayes. I'm excited for Carmelo Hayes. I've known Carmelo Hayes for about 4 years now. Followed him since he was when he was Christian Casanova, wrestling New England Indies and all that kind of stuff, and always been exciting to me to see him get to where he is. My only fear is he's a legit champion, but with the way NXT 2.0 is, what are we gonna get?
How you mean what we're gonna get?
it all feels a little bit. It already feels a little bit too cheesy to me. NXT 2.0. So I'm like, right, what are the feuds? What feuds are we gonna get? I'm very intrigued to see what Halloween Havoc is gonna be like. Because we're very used to these NXT takeovers being these great wrestling shows, and it's like the perfect hybrid of the WWE style with the indie style and all that kind of thing. Now for me, this is more FCW.
Yeah. Well, the Halloween Havoc is just a TV special. It's not like a whole takeover anyway. But I think there's guys there. They're gonna have to build guys for Carmelo Hayes to beat. Obviously, him and Trick Williams got rid of Santos Escobar to get to ensure that Swerve retained, and then they beat him. So Santos Escobar will surely have some type of claim to be first in line. Then everyone else is probably going to be whoever these mid-card guys they're building. Joe Gacy? He's been very good. His character at first I was thinking, what is this? But now I'm kind of getting into it sort of thing.
Joe Gacy. I've always enjoyed him as a wrestler. So to see this character, I was a bit like, I don't know, but as weeks have gotten on, I'm starting to properly enjoy it.
Yeah. And then obviously Harland, the big man, like it even feels weird saying these names because it's like we've known them for 2 minutes, but like there's probably a couple guys they've got in mind that they can feed to Carmelo, give Carmelo a decent run, because let's be honest, in terms of that roster currently, in terms of the guys they want to push in that roster, he is probably the best of everyone they've got in terms of the younger wrestlers that they want to push through. So there's a couple guys there that could get this work, and then when someone new comes in, maybe that Samoan guy that they're pushing as like the next Roman.
Oh, the one with the gloves and the pants. Zion Queen or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. Maybe he'll be the guy to win it eventually.
Yeah. NK, have you seen Carmelo doing his thing?
I can't lie, I have not been keeping up with NXT 2.0. So in this conversation, I do not know what's going on. I do not know what's going on.
No boy, what you say?
Pretty much the same thing as Nexus says. Like, I feel like a lot of the older guys, they've all left or they've gone to either SmackDown or Raw now. So it's just a matter of like the type of people that they're going to now feed to Carmelo. So like he said, Zion Quinns, Joe Gacy, maybe this Tony D'Angelo guy, he's over as hell. He only had one match. And by the time he walked in, he was like one of the most over stars in the company as it is. So it should be interesting. Like for me, I'd possibly pair him against, a lot of the vets, maybe people like Pete Dunne or the Only Lorcans, just to kind of like build his reputation before he now drops it to one of the newer guys. But it should be interesting. Like I don't know what to expect from this Halloween Havoc at all.
Yeah.
No idea.
Odyssey as well is a name.
Odyssey, yes, Odyssey.
He might come from as well, actually, because he beat him in the breakout final as well. So he might.
There's a lot of people.
I guess Carmelo Hayes fits the whole new look for NXT and all the rest of it. I think for me though, it's just about the opponents. Santos Escobar is going to be great. He's amazing. That match, whenever they have it, is going to be great. No doubt. But it's just kind of different way. You've got men stroking another guy's face to calm him down, and hugging everyone else. I don't know. And then this guy who's kind of come out of nowhere, sounds exactly like his uncle, but is his dad's son, is now the number one contender because he made a bit of noise. Then you've got this tall guy who decided to save, what's his name, the other guy that was in Undisputed Era, literally the other guy.
Von Wagner or something like that.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, I was excited for this whole new thing, and it now makes a little bit more sense that, I think we definitely will see a bit more of a, merging of NXT stars now going to WWE eventually, or the main roster eventually. But it all just seems a bit forced, and I don't know. I just don't know. I actually kind of wish Hit Row was still there as well.
it should have been Hit Row that stayed and Legado del Fantasma that should
that
have
went
went.
up. It made no sense why because what's her name? I can't remember her name in Hit Row.
B-Fab.
B-Fab, she's green as hell. The Adonis, he's all right, but I'm sure there's still work to be done. AJ Francis, he's good. Isaiah Swerve, he's obviously the vet out of the. But in terms of comparing it to Legado del Fantasma,
right?
Come on, man. Let's be real. Like,
Them men are clear, bro.
They're clear. And obviously they got Electra. And come on, man. Come on, like if you've got her on your team, yeah, you might as well win the WWE title. So I don't know. Like I was a bit confused when I saw them going up to SmackDown and Raw. I'm happy for them because I feel like it was a good showing. But at the same time, it's kind of like B-Fab is still green. Like a match that I saw last time when she faced Electra, I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this ain't it, man. She needs, I don't know, take the ropes.
But that's the thing. They had that match and then they got called up. So for me, that might just be more of like, okay, well, we've given her a chance. Maybe this ain't it, but we can still use her within the group as a valet or a manager or whatever the case is. And like, yeah, we know Legado is better in terms of wrestling, maybe promos if you want to go that far and stuff. But maybe this is just a gamble to put something different on the main roster. After all, this is sports entertainment and not pro wrestling. So, yeah.
It's interesting. It's interesting. To bring NK back into the conversation, who do we? So we know that in AEW we've got this TBS title coming up. I think the brackets are being announced this Friday.
Yeah, I think so.
Me and Mek kind of briefly talked about this, but I'll ask NK specifically. Who do you see winning this title? Do you see any of our queens winning this title? Who do you see?
I think the problem. I think the pick it would obviously be Jade Cargill in terms of just her presentation, in terms of how much investment they put into her. My one issue with Jade Cargill is that she's still green. She's very green, and putting the responsibility of being at the mid-card champion, basically the workhorse of the company, on Jade Cargill, it's too much for her right now. It's too much for her right now. Then you look at Red Velvet. No. Like the spot she did the other day where she almost broke her neck with the Spanish Fly. No. Big Swole, they have, I don't know what they're doing with Big Swole. They are underutilizing her. Like, she is crazy talented. Kira Hogan just got into the company, so I doubt she's going to be in contention. So it's I don't, like, I say if there is going to be a black champion, it will be Jade Cargill, but I don't think that's the spot for her right now. She still needs to get her reps in. So I would say somebody like a Ruby Riott. Yeah.
NK, do you think, if they book her and book the championship, Jade Cargill, that is, very much like an open challenge week to week, every bi-weekly basis, and it's like her squashing girls, do you think they can get away with it for a bit at least that way?
They can, but then we're gonna have the question of what are we doing with the other roster? Because this whole title was supposed to like give the credible women work. Because now AEW's women's roster, you're getting a few more stars. You're getting people that can actually work. You're getting the Ruby Sohos, the Hikaru Shidas. You've got a lot more people that can actually go in the ring. So using that title just to go back to squash matches is kind of a waste, and you're just gonna shelf a lot of people. So I think like. I would say personally right now, something like a Ruby Soho is perfect for that title because she's an established worker. She's good in the ring and she's a star. Jade Cargill's got the star part down, but in terms of like as a worker, let's be real here. She's still got a long way to go. She will. Young, I have the utmost faith in Jade Cargill. She will be a future AEW women's champion. Forget TBS, women's champion. Like we know that. It's just how. It's a matter of when, not if. And right now, I just don't think it's the
time. Del Boy, defend your girl. What are you saying?
I mean, my baby girl, like, I can't lie, man. No, what NK says is completely true. She is green. In terms of star power and presence. What Mek says in terms of like, if they were to put the title on her and just put her into squashes, I am for that 100%. I think that's something that could potentially work. Because at the end of the day, you do want to build credibility of this belt of, she's a champion, she's just beating everyone. And obviously you need someone who's a top contender to be able to beat her. Outside of her, the only one of our sisters that I see winning is Big Swole. She's someone who I think deserves all the TV time. She is one of the best female workers
100%.
in the company as it is. So the fact that we haven't seen much of her on TV as opposed to like AEW Dark is beyond me. I don't know what the reasons are, but maybe there could be some clarifications. But outside of our sisters, it would probably be either Ruby Soho or Serena Deeb. I'm leaning more towards Serena Deeb. For me, I think she's the best worker.
That's a good one.
For me, she is like
100%.
she can even contend with some of the men up there. For me, she's one of the best workers in AEW. Period.
I keep telling myself that we know that Swole had some underlying health issues before, and now she's kind of back. But I keep telling myself, maybe that's what it is. That's why she's not getting that push or being featured a bit more on TV. But she's being used on Dark and all these other products and stuff. So if she's good to go, she's good to go. Let's stick her out there, because her character, we know she's good in the ring, but her character is actually very good as well.
She's one of the best promos. In
the company.
Yeah, 100%. So why she's not being utilized? I mean, maybe outside of health stuff, it's beyond me. I actually don't know. Because we should be seeing her weekly on TV if possible. You know, I like the bunny. I like Penelope. I like Penelope, but at the same time, there's other women that I feel like are serious workers. Big Swole, Diamante. Like, these are women that can seriously go, and we'll be sick to see them on TV regularly. So
I'm dying to hear that talking about Penelope, because the funniest thing is my mum's name is spelled Penelope, but it said Penelope.
Oh, I
swear.
I've always found it very weird. I take the mick out my mum all the time because it's just mad that someone else has said it. I've never heard anyone else say that in my life apart from my family. So that's just crazy. But folks, we have run out of time. This has been the fillet steak edition of WrstlXtra. Of course, with myself, a Dazzle, Black Wrestling Alliance, of course, Mex the birthday boy, WrestleManiac UK, and the boy from Wresthings, Dalboy and NK. Thanks, boys, for coming. Black British for the man them. God save the Queen and the man them. This has been WrstlXtra, and folks, me and Mex, at least, we'll see you all next week. Of course, don't forget to check out Wresthings on YouTube. The content is crazy. It's arguments every week, and I'm here for it. 150 million%.
Their YouTube channel is in the description for anyone that's new to their channel. So head over down to the description and subscribe to their channel.
Most definitely. And also, of course, because it's Mex's birthday, everyone that's listening needs to subscribe to this channel as well. Yes, on that note, folks, we are out of here. Thank you.
See you later, guys.